Hi guys, and welcome back to the Wealth and Wellness Studio, the podcast that's helping you get healthier, wealthier, hotter, and happier. We're really here to help you build your dream life and to share the journey and the process of us building ours. I say us because it's normally me and my co-host Kat, but this week I'm going to do a little solo episode. So this week I'm going to be updating you guys just truly on the last couple months of life, giving you an update on all of the different businesses that I'm working on my marketing agency. A lot of you guys have been following me from the beginning of building my social media platform, of talking about my dreams. And now you've gotten to watch me over the last year really start to make these projects come to life. So this is just really like a heart to heart, as if we're grabbing a coffee and we're just going to chat. We're going to chat. I'm going to spill all the tea. I'm going to tell you everything I'm learning because honestly, I feel like there's a lot of podcasts of people who have already made it in life. And it's really cool to just share vulnerably the process of the humble beginnings and the process of the journey. Not at all because I'm an expert, but more because there's so many lessons that I wish that somebody would have just sat down and taught me that would have saved me so much time. And I think that there's a lot of value from that 0 to 1 that you sometimes forget once you make it. So point being is I hope that you guys are all building your dream lives with me and figuring out whatever that means for you. Even if for you, it's not building businesses or empires, maybe for you, that's building your dream family or mastering a hobby or whatever it is for you. I hope that you get inspired to set your goal, believe that anything is possible, and then build the daily habits to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to go. But before we get started, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. We have a video version of this on YouTube, and we're on all streaming platforms. If you'll leave us a 5-star review, that would mean the world to us. And if it's not a 5-star, don't leave it. You can just DM us. We love your feedback. You can find us on the Wealth and Wellness Studio on Instagram. But yeah, really grateful that you're here, and let's get into the episode. Okay, guys. So to get started, I'm going to talk about my marketing agency and where I'm at. So for those of you guys who know, I started a marketing agency 2 years ago. I was working a part-time job at a med spa, and I realized the better I got in my job, the less I'd get paid. My boyfriend, who is also an entrepreneur, bought me a course on how to start a marketing agency. And I went to school for marketing, but I feel like truly you learn way more by getting a good mentor and just doing the work and courses and podcasts, and especially in a world that's changing constantly with AI, social media. While the principles of marketing and marketing psychology stay the same, you're going to learn so much more by actually just learning how to capture attention and make sales and getting a sales job or a marketing internship than you will sitting in a classroom with a business professor who has never owned a business. Unless, of course, you have an incredible business professor and an incredible business school. That's a different thing. But point being, I started my agency 2 years ago, and at the beginning, it's really hard to start a business as a 21-year-old girl, which that's how old I was at the time when I started it, because there's so many limiting beliefs, self-doubt that creeps in. And the first year and a half, you are truly in survival mode of getting that first client to take a chance on you and to spend their money on you. And the main thing that you have to offer is grit, hard work, and being I'm going to learn how to make you sales and make you clients. So the first year was I was so blessed with the clients that I had, but I really started out with way more boring. And when I say boring businesses make money, but think med spas, doctor's offices, anesthesia software companies. I really started with, local businesses. And over the last couple of years, I started out super broad. And it was super sick because year 2, I learned so many lessons, which guys have done a whole podcast on this, so I don't want to get super deep into it, but I built a whole podcast on how I built the 6-figure marketing agency, as a solopreneur, and how you can do it too. So definitely scroll back and go watch that. But point being is giving you guys the life update. Last year was really about just selling and gaining clients. And again, I built it to a 6-figure agency, hired 2 contractors. And then this year has really been about, we've gotten to the point where I finally have felt like I was out of fight or flight mode, because the first year of business, I felt like I was constantly feeling guilty if I wasn't working. You're so anxious because you're learning things for the first time. You're running Google ads for the first time. You're running meta ads, like with real ad spend for the first time. Every time that you get a new client in a new industry, it's like your first time doing it. And once you've built like your case studies, your success stories, it becomes so much easier, because when you have a track record of keeping your clients, you know how to make sales. You get better when you suck long enough. And I feel like I finally hit the point this last year where I'm finally out of survival mode, and I can wake up in the morning and not feel stressed, because I know that I know what I'm doing. I know that I can get my clients results, which has been a really cool place to be in. And also being able to, instead of taking every job that comes my way, actually being like able to be picky about the types of clients that I'm working with. So I found that my niche has really become like women-owned wellness brands and women-owned businesses, because typically you don't want the easiest way to market to a client is to be able to speak their language and like speak to a specific avatar. So it's just a lot easier for a girl who's experienced things like period pain or PMS or hormonal imbalances to market to another girl and speak to women who have also dealt with the same thing. So it's been really fun over the last year, working with some incredible brands and getting to grow my portfolio. So anyway, I'm finally to the point now where like I haven't even truly marketed my agency, and I just have way more work from referrals, word of mouth, and being really good at retention and sales, that I have way more work than I can even handle. So I'm at a point where I'm raising my prices, dropping my lower clients, hiring, organizing systems, SOPs, and it's time to freaking scale, you guys. So it's so interesting, because I think at the beginning of business, it's really about grit and hard work. And now I'm at the phase where it's like systems matter, because I've kind of bottlenecked trading my time for money, being self-employed that way. And I'm like, okay, to multiply this, I now need to know how to hire. I need to know how to train. I need to know how to write SOPs. I need to build. So that's the season that we're in. So I'm going to be taking you guys along on that journey with the agency, but it's been a really cool experience to, I guess, to highlight like top 3 things that I'm learning from the agency right now is, number one, my strategy with this agency is I have so many dreams of so many different businesses that I want to build, but I'm like, it makes strategically way more sense to get paid to learn how to do this with someone else's ad spend and ad dollar, grow their business, get paid to grow their business, understand the back end, and then be like, okay, now when I go to start my own product business or my own business in this field, I've already scaled it. And it just creates a shortcut for understanding how to launch and create a brand. And when you're doing this for like when you have over 20 retainer clients that you've been working with for 3 years, you understand the back end of so many different types of businesses, and it's just going to shorten the shortcut for every other business that I want to start, because I've made all my mistakes on someone else's brand, which is kind of the point of being an employee. So that's kind of the strategy with this. And then this year, I'm also starting like the 2 e-commerce companies with my best friend, Kat, which has been so fun. So we're taking everything we're learning, applying it to our own business. And I'm excited. So that has been number 1 of like really being strategic with the type of clients. And then 2, along those lines, being really strategic about who I'm working with and the type of lifestyle that I'm creating. So one of my mottos, as you guys have probably heard me talk on here before, is I want to be able to do really stressful things in a really regulated nervous system type of way, in a really easy way. I want to do hard things in a fun way where, of course, there's a level of discipline and work ethic that is required into building an empire. But I really want to be able to build an empire in a way where I'm prioritizing my quality of life. And if you guys have not read 4-Hour Workweek, you need to read it, because I think that has super shaped my philosophy of understanding that putting your time into the few things that really move the needle forward, learning how to outsource, learning how to create systems, and not finding like pride in being busy just for the sake of being busy. I don't believe that making money needs to be hard. And I believe that if you have the right strategy, there are totally ways that you can, there's a sustainable way that you can build your lifestyle. So like to put this in a practical sense, one of the applicable things that I'm doing is when I'm hiring new clients, 2 things. I make sure that I'm only working with purpose-driven brands. I've realized I do not work well with micromanaging. What I care about is results-oriented work. So if there's a brand who is going to micromanage me and be a time suck and they're asking for Prada level quality with a Walmart level budget, I just will not work with them. That is not the type of client. That is just not the type of client that I want to work with. If you've ever worked with a client like that, it makes your life living hell and it's awful. So I think being able to set boundaries around your work the same way you would your personal life is huge. And being really picky about the clients that you attract. Of course, at the beginning, you have to kind of take whatever you can. And then eventually getting to a place where you're picky about like, do they micromanage my time? Do they care how the work gets done? I've realized that for me, as long as the work gets done and I'm getting you results, like I don't want to work with people who are going to tell me that I have to start at 8 a.m. or I have to do it a certain way, or don't trust your expertise, or won't give you creative freedom, or are very manipulative in the way that they speak. Like I just don't tolerate that. So specific questions that I ask, like when I'm beginning to work with someone is, what is your expectation of, like, how often are they going to be checking in? Are they going to micromanage you every single day? Is it going to be once a week to check progress? That's one thing I ask. I also ask of like, what is their work style? Does it match with yours? Because every person is a different work style. I ask like, what is your work style? Do you micromanage? Remember that like when you're interviewing a client or a job, like you are interviewing them to see if they're a good fit for you as much as they're interviewing you. And there's very like targeted specific questions that you can ask to make sure that it's a good fit. And then starting out with the trial agreement and setting a thing where you can renegotiate rates after a month is extremely helpful. Because a lot of times like you'll think that work is going to be a certain amount of workload. And then you're a month into it and you realize it's not. So that's kind of that. And one more tidbit, I guess, of something I've been really applying in my business and learning about is, not being afraid to ask for higher prices, because the clients that you attract when you have higher prices is so much better than the client that's paying you $3,000 a month is going to be such a better client fit for you than the client who's only paying you 500, because most of the time the client that's not willing to spend money on a marketing budget also is going to be micromanaging you and trying to have a monopoly of your time and basically abusing your time they're asking for Prada level work at a Walmart level budget. So that's kind of the agency and where I'm taking things next. So I'm doing a huge rebrand right now, redoing my website. And I'm going to be hiring here shortly. So if you know anyone who is interested, it's going to be a salaried position. So somebody who's willing to take on a lot of accounts, works independently, self-starter, doesn't need to be micromanaged, good with time, message me. I would love to chat with you. But skills required: meta ads management, social media management, UGC, video editing, basic website and Notion understanding. And if you have sales experience, that's a great thing. But that's the skill set we're looking for at my agency. And that's kind of a summary on that. And I'm going to be starting to do marketing for myself, because up until this point, I've been marketing everyone else and not really doing marketing for myself. But I'm really going to switch over and focusing in on the sales and strategy role and having somebody that I'm training to do a lot of the fulfillment and analytics side. So that's kind of an update on my marketing agency. And let's talk about social media. So I have been posting consistently on social media for a long time, but I used to go through these absolute life crises where I would like get to 5,000 followers and then I would delete everybody. And I did this multiple times in my life. I stopped posting on social media for a year. I had so many limiting beliefs around social media. And I know I'm not the only one who overthinks posting. That was like me for a very long time in my life. And about a year and a half ago, I just decided, you know what? My social media is not for my friends anymore. I'm going to be using this for business. And especially when I started sourcing creators for all these companies, and I realized, why would I pay thousands of dollars for somebody else to market my brand or source them for these other brands when I can just grow my brand and make the paycheck myself? So I've started posting, and I just decided that I'm going to post for 5 years straight. And reminder, this is year 2, but I was like, I'm going to post for 5 years straight. I'm going to post consistently. I know my personal brand is going to be about entrepreneurship, wellness. So yeah, basically business, wellness, and adventure and travel and lifestyle. But like your personal brand is whatever makes you unique. So my main goal is like to add value to people's lives, to like inspire them that they can build their dream lives, and like show them the process of building mine with the 3 pillars that I'm interested in: health and wellness, biohacking, all in one, lifestyle, which includes travel, adventure, all those things. And then obviously business and entrepreneurship, which this podcast is a part of. But I've been posting for years, and for a long time, like, it's so easy to get discouraged, but I just said, I'm going to find my dopamine hit in my output instead of in the results, because you cannot control how many people are liking your stuff. You cannot control if a video blows up, if it doesn't, but you can control you posting. And so essentially I gamified that process, and I recently have been posting like 3 to 5 times a day, posting trial reels, posting TikToks. And honestly, if you just post 100 times and you're willing to do it really shitty, I think I've had like 600 posts at this point. If you're just willing to do that, at some point, you're going to learn pattern recognition of what's working for you, what hooks work, what your niche is, what your audience is. Like, again, firm believer in messy action over perfectionism any day. It will get you so much further. So essentially, I've been doing that. And last month I was at 6,000, and I had a couple videos that had popped off and hit like 2-3 million views in the past, or I think it were like 1 to 3 million, and they just didn't convert to followers. So again, like, I think a lot of people give up really soon before they see success, and you have to really be in things for the long game. I've been posting consistently for like 2 years, but again, posting really since I was 14. I would just delete my account like I was talking about. And I finally got to a place where I hit 10,000 followers this week. So I had like 6 videos blow up in the last month, and we hit 10K, which I am so excited about. And we're going to do a little celebration with my friends, but that's like celebrating a really big one for me, because I've put in a lot of work over the last couple years to get here, and it works. So you guys, when people say consistency works, it really, really does. Whether it's in the gym, whether it's posting, whether it's like business, like, it takes way more work than you think it needs to. And you just need to not give up and keep going and find your dopamine hits in what you're putting in rather than what you're getting out. That's an update on that. And then for the other businesses, you guys, Vibe Party. So this is one of the e-commerce brands that we're doing, and it's essentially a party in a box. So think of like Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthdays, New Year's, Friendsgiving, like any of these events. Like, what stops people from hosting a lot of times is the amount of effort it takes to plan a party. So we're literally doing everything you need to throw amazing events and like hosting fun dinners with your friends at your house. But we're putting it in a box, and we're going to put people on subscription. So you can get boxes for like all of the major times in the year when you want to have your friends over. We're making socializing in real life cool again. And I'm so excited about this, and we can finally speak on it, but we're going to do a whole episode talking about this and like showing you guys the box. But you guys need to follow the Instagram at Vibe Parties. We did our first like actual party with our own materials. The branding is so cute, guys. Kat did all of it, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm like really excited because it's like something that I'm genuinely so stoked to use. So we've thrown our first couple of events with it. And right now we're building the wait list. And the way that we're doing this is we're only going to drop 300 boxes when we launch. And our wait list is filling up super quickly. So we have some really fun prizes going out: tote bags, hats, sunglasses, disposable cameras. The disposable cameras are so sick. I'm developing film right now, and I'm really excited to share them with you guys. So go follow Vibe Parties on Instagram. You're going to see it there. But we're giving someone their dream party. So, think like truly whatever you can dream up of, like, this is my dream event. This is my dream party. If I had all the funds in the world, this is what I would throw. We're going to throw one friend group their dream party. So the more of your friends enter the wait list, the more likely you are to win your dream party. And you also get prizes like the disposable camera as you refer friends. So that's Vibe. Really stoked. It's been about a year. It took a long time to do product sourcing and product development. And we're probably going to be dropping around August or September. So you have probably another month to submit your dream party idea. So definitely go do that. That's kind of an update on Vibe. And then we have one more e-commerce brand that Kat and I are in the process of doing. So I'm really excited about this. And then again, through our marketing agency, I was recently reached out to start another podcast, which I'm really stoked because it's one of my favorite wellness brands. And you guys will be hearing more about this soon. But yeah, those are kind of like my major life updates. And outside of that, let's see, business wise, physically, I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm tracking my protein goals. I'm actually like being conscious of my nutrition and what I'm eating, and I'm going to the gym consistently. And I feel so good, guys. Like when you really prioritize your health, it's crazy how much that impacts every other area of your life. But yeah, I have a couple of trips coming up in the summer. So pretty soon here, I'm going to Canada for 3 days with 2 of my girlfriends, which is going to be so fun. We're going to be on an island off of Vancouver, having like a work retreat / girls time. One of my best friends is going through a breakup. So we're going to be having a good old girl time, like wellness, crying, work on work. It's going to be great. So we're going to do that for 3 days, have a bunch of friends that we're hosting up here for the 4th. So that's going to be super fun and I'm really excited. And then, going to be going to Europe in July. So probably 10 days from now, by the time this podcast episode comes out, I'm probably on my way to Europe. So really excited about that. There's so many fun projects and stuff that I'm planning for them too. So there's going to be a lot that's coming on in the next 2 months. So definitely stay updated. And again, it's crazy because the first 2 years, like when you first start putting in all the work, like everything you're seeing right now is like the fruit that I'm reaping from like working on this 2 years ago. So start now, because 2 years from now, you're going to be very grateful you did it, because the work does pay off. Yeah, but okay, going to Europe, have a wedding in Vienna, and then I'll be back in August, and maybe I'll do a podcast on like how to maintain your work-life balance while you travel, because that's kind of huge. So yeah, I think that's like all my life updates. If you guys have, what I really want to hear from you guys is like life updates. Doesn't always have to be like all roses and like the great things that are happening, but a lot of times, like if you're putting the work in to get hotter, happier, healthier, sexier, wealthier, what else did I say? Healthier, happier. If you're doing all the habits on a day-to-day basis, even if you cannot control the external things that are happening to you, or if you get results or not, I promise you, if you just don't give up at some point, like your life is going to get exponentially better. You're going to start surrounding yourself with better people. You're going to have better belief systems. You're going to have a better body. You're going to have like more money in the bank. You're going to have better relationships. Like just change your daily habits and it will change your life. And again, the point of me sharing this is in full transparency. Like if you go back and you watch all of this, like when I started my business, I was living in, I couldn't afford more than $500 in rent. And I was living in a little like guest house in someone's yard that had no kitchen. I literally lived without a kitchen for a full year. And this has been a process of me just like completely changing my life by taking ownership of my own habits. So wherever you're at, this is just kind of your reminder in this podcast that if I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing special about any other human and any dream that you have, whether it is to be a pro athlete or build businesses or build a beautiful family or heal generational trauma. Like there is nothing that any other human can do, that there's no reason that you cannot do it. So this is just your reminder, like your dream life is possible. Go do the work, change your daily habits, and let's build our dream lives together. So that's my life update. And I will see you guys next week. DM me your life updates, or maybe DM me like, what are your daily habits? Like, I'm so excited to hear about them. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.